Okay. So Saravana, I am going to record this and thank you for letting me do this. We have never met. We are Facebook friends because we have a lot of the same friends in common.
Yeah,
We're both real estate investors in Cincinnati.
right.
So thanks for reaching out to me. And this way we actually get to connect face to face. So you sent me an email, actually a Facebook message, and you asked me for suggestions on how to lease out your commercial spaces. So
Right.
you bought a building with how many apartment units?
It has 13 apartments on the first and second and third floor, and it has two large storefronts in the front side. Yeah.
Okay. Is this your first commercial building with
No,
non-residential
no,
commercial?
this is not our first commercial, but mostly we had some kind of mixed use buildings where it had pawn shop at the bottom and maybe apartment or a single family upstairs. Some of them we just let it stay as is. Some of them it made us sense to convert to single family. We did a few that way as well. So we got more rent as a single family than one storefront and one apartment.
Interesting. I always thought you get more from commercial.
No, no.
Ah, okay. And what made you want to buy those mixed use buildings? Because a lot of residential people are afraid of any kind of commercial. And these mixed use buildings, I tell people all the time, you can get a great value on them because of that.
The reason, again, it all end of the day numbers game, right? It is often time, in my experience, the mixed use buildings are cheaper than pure residential buildings. So for example, I told you about a pawn shop, right?
Right.
So this particular building, it was in Cheviot. It had a one bedroom, um, it had a one bedroom apartment upstairs. If I'm not wrong, either it's one bedroom or two bedroom. I think it's one bedroom apartment. It had a bath and shower, everything upstairs, and it had a storefront. It was a pawn shop. So we bought this building. It was much cheaper. Like it was we bought for like, if my memory is correct, we bought as a package few buildings, but um, I think it came out only 40,000 or something. It was only 40,000 we
Wow.
bought. Like when it was a package, but that particular one, I think it will come around 40K, 40 to 50, maybe in that range. So the pawn shop guy was paying only 300 and some dollars per month rent. Upstairs was like some $400 something rent. So as soon as we bought, there was some issues. If I'm not wrong, they sold drugs or something. The police busted. It wasn't a very good main street. It like, you wouldn't suspect this guy selling drugs, but police busted. Then even though he had under lease, like, we used that as an excuse to get him out immediately. Without fight, he went. He said like, okay, I'm leaving. So he left in a very good shape. Like, usually you think like, somebody sold drug, probably they would have busted everything and it's a mess. But he left in a very good thing. We didn't really have to spend. I think originally the owner, probably very long time ago, the owner might have been having a storefront in the bottom and maybe he was living upstairs. So everything was there. From storefront, you can go up. We just probably spend less than $2,000, maybe 2,000 to $3,000. Like we just put a wall, some division, some good painting, and it was all hardwood floor, so we didn't have to really do anything to the floor. Upstairs was carpet. Um, if my we converted to a three-bedroom residential, I think we rented out for 1,300 if I'm not wrong.
Wow.
So
Okay.
we were
Good.
getting 300 and 400 plus we were paying for water. So now you get $1,300 where tenant pays for all utilities.
So you won that numbers game on that deal.
Yeah, yeah.
Good. Um, so I don't want this to turn into a podcast because I'm going to ask you if I can interview you later for Joe Fearless's podcast.
Sure, you can do that.
I'm helping him out and doing some commercial interviews. So I'd love to get your whole story on that podcast. But today, let's see if I can answer your questions that
Yeah, sure.
you hit me with. And I'm going to share my screen so that we can both kind of look at the same thing, or at least the audience can see what I'm looking at. Okay. So hopefully this is coming up on the video, but so here's the building that you're looking at, right?
Yes,
And we have 13 units.
right.
Okay. Approximate square footage of these commercial units?
Um, it's approximately about, I think it will be somewhere closer to 1300,
Each.
1300 each. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's about roughly we have, uh, so we had some people come and measure. I forgot actually. It's somewhere between 1300 to 1500 because the building is very long. If you would go on the lawn avenue, you would see the how long the building is. Like, you know, it's pretty long. Yeah. See
Okay.
that it
Yes.
goes all the way till the end.
Okay.
So it's only about 15 feet at the end. All the mechanicals are there. You would see that door which goes down. So yeah,
Okay.
right here, it's about, we lose only about 15 feet or something. We lose 15 feet and the width. So it's a pretty very long uh, uh, lengthwise. I think it's about 13 to 1500 square feet.
Okay. In this parking lot, are any of the spots reserved for commercial tenants or can they be?
So these parking lots are not reserved. It's we can use, and also you look above, right? All those belongs to us. And also there is a huge parking in the left side in the back because you see, can you come to the left? Yeah, if you would go, actually, if it's actually the entrance is from all the way from a different direction.
Okay.
So
Well,
if
so I guess the question is right now, do your apartment tenants take up all the parking spots?
Um, I think they do. They pretty much take up the space, but we can make them to move their parking to the backside because we won't pretty much that end. We have to make probably like because all the trash and everything is backside. There is a huge, pretty much like what you see the parking backside. There is a huge on the left side. You see all the way. Oh yeah, this is a better way to look at it.
Okay.
Yeah, see the entrance. This is Lawn
Right here?
Avenue. Yeah,
Ah,
so
and you
this
own this?
we don't own that, but pretty much to the left, the entrance. This is we have the easement here to enter the property from this
Okay.
side. So
Got it.
this, yeah, so pretty much all the space what you see green space, it's all ours. So
Okay, perfect. So, Sarvana, all of this could be street parking as well, right?
yes,
It
it's
doesn't
all
look like
no
a
restriction. It's
crazy
all street parking. Yeah.
perfect. Okay. So, what I would definitely do is all of the spots in front of the store and maybe to the side reserve for your commercial tenants only and not the employees and not the owners, but the customers, right?
Yeah.
If the owner wants to park there, that's just a dumb move. He should be
Yeah.
parking on the streets. Okay. And how long have you owned this building?
It just bought last December.
Okay. Um, and historically, the tenants that have been here, do you know what they were?
What do you mean? What is there?
Who was in
Uh,
here previously? What tenants? What
oh,
types
okay.
of tenants?
Previously, so previously, see that white side, there was a guy who was doing some electronic repair shop, something. He has been there from 2001, like almost for 20 years. He was there. He was paying, I think, somewhere 300 and some dollars. He's been there for a very long time. We didn't ask him to move, but just last month he said like, yeah, I'm moving out. I'm not. He has some so he was more like using a warehouse, doing some small business. On the left side there is a restaurant directly opposite. If you would just zoom, like, yeah, so this guy, these restaurant guys, they were using that more like I think they might have had something, I don't know what they had, but they were using that space until we bought, more like a storage and warehouse. So these
Interesting.
were the two tenants, historical tenants.
Okay. So the cool thing about Google Street View is you get to hit this little clock button
Oh,
and
okay.
go back in time, right? So let's go.
Oh,
Let's see if we can see what it was in 2007. All right. So it was a
I never
tanning
used that.
salon.
Oh, yeah,
And
I remember seeing some tanning. Yeah, yeah,
the problem with the old photos is the resolution is
resolution.
horrible. So let's see if there's a 2009 picture. Okay, so how about this Alpine apartment sign? That wasn't there before, was it?
It was not. Still, those signs are, some of the big signs are there. We are yet to remove all those things. So,
Okay. And I can't make that
uh,
Mitchell, man, let's see.
restaurant? I don't know what is that.
TVs and VCRs for sale. So it looks like Mitchell's TVs.
Yeah,
So it used to be a TV repair shop. Let's go
maybe
another.
that's the guy. He moved this side. I don't know.
Yeah.
When the tanning shop.
And he was there again in 2011. Let's go to still 2011. Hey, he's still there. Let's go 2016. And the TV store is still there.
Oh, so only recently they went.
Yeah, let's go 18.
It's
And
not
now we have Express Travel Agency. Oh, I don't know about travel agency today.
there.
All right, and now it's vacant. So let's
Yeah.
go up and down this street. Um, you are in a large neighborhood area. And where's the okay? So right down the street, you've got a White Castle, you've got UDF, Lee's Chicken, and this is Montgomery Road, so a
Yeah.
major busy
Yeah. We
thoroughfare.
own one other building in Montgomery as well. So
Okay, and right
not very
next
far.
to the Norwood Lateral, which is a connector for two interstates. So this location, while it's in a dense residential area, it's in the middle of a lot of commercial space as well.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot
And
of things happening. Yeah.
how's the restaurant doing across the street?
I haven't seen much people. I think they maybe just, it's a mom and pop restaurant, and maybe
Okay.
they're just maybe they're just surviving. I don't think
You
they're
know
making
what?
a lot of money.
Let's see how long they've been there. So here's 2007. It was a restaurant.
But I don't.
Yeah, 2011. It actually looks nice. Great windows. September of 14. Still, it looks vacant, but nice windows. 17. Man, I like the colors before.
Yeah, it was a good texture and everything. I don't.
All right. So that's always been a restaurant. Um, have you driven around the area? Where's the closest barber shop?
I haven't. I haven't. Yeah, no, I
Okay.
haven't. We haven't really given much thought exactly, like, thought into what we could do with that space.
Okay. So because you're off the beaten path and you don't have a high number of vehicles per day on this street, you either have to be a destination where you have something so good people will find you, or you need to be a neighborhood service, something that caters to this neighborhood, right?
Okay.
So what I'm thinking is a possible convenience store, hair, nail salon, an insurance business. I've had a lot of inquiries lately from insurance people wanting to lease retail space.
Interesting, because I was thinking insurance is something you could just sit at home. I didn't know that they need a space.
So I've had a number of insurance tenants for the last several years, and I would have thought the same thing. And what's crazy is how many people like to walk into an office and hand deliver their insurance payment. That's the sole reason they stay open. Because you're right. Uh, all of my insurance is done on the phone or online. I don't want to get in my car and drive, right?
Text. That's all I do. I just text. Actually.
Yeah. So I think maybe in this demographic, especially people that use a lot more cash than a Venmo or their American Express card, right? An insurance place, I think, would thrive. Nail salon for sure. Do you know what the demographic is in the area?
Um, there is a lot of Hispanics
Okay.
in this area. African Americans are there. I think I have a feeling I've been watching this area a little bit. We have several other properties in Norwood, in and around within 3 mile radius. We have a lot of single family homes. There is a shift from, not like, it's in my opinion, it's slowly moving towards more white collar, but not to a larger extent, but slowly it's becoming better and better. So
Okay.
I
Uh,
feel African Americans are being pushed out. I could be wrong, but based on based on who we get inquiries, because this area we don't get, if we had few apartments vacant, like African Americans, they don't want to come into this area for whatever the reason.
Yeah, I think that Hispanic community is so tight that wherever they are, they have a huge community around them. So your tenants, have you asked them what they would like to see down here?
um we have not asked the tenants.
Here's
No, we
here's
have not.
okay, here's what I would do. I would ask all of your tenants, right? Say, hey, I've got an opportunity to lease out these storefronts. What would you like to see there? So get their mind in that mode. What can help them? And then ask them, do you have anybody that leases space or or has any stores or has a business that they want to bring into a retail shop? Right? So get the word out.
Mhm.
Offer all of them half a month free rent if they can find you a tenant.
Okay,
Now
that's a
you've
good
got a
idea.
bunch of salespeople going out there from your neighborhood trying to find a tenant for you, right?
Right.
And then on a nice day, I would take a walk around this neighborhood. And if you see somebody walking their dog, introduce yourself. Be like, hey, listen, I just bought this building around the corner across from the taqueria, and I'm trying to find commercial tenants in there. Do you know anybody? What would you like to see? And make small talk. Let them know. How's this neighborhood evolved over the years? What are your thoughts? What do you do? Like get in their head, right? And let them spread the word that, hey, man, a really cool guy just bought this building, right? Like become part of that community. And
Right.
then obviously the Craigslist ads, Facebook Marketplace, you would be amazed at the responses that you would get on Facebook Marketplace. And then Norwood, I own commercial and residential property in Norwood as well. And there's a Facebook page called Norwood Strong, right? It's
Okay.
it's one of those community pages. And
Pages or groups?
it is it's
I
a
think
group. You're right. It's a group.
I think I know a group which is I'm from Norwood or something. I forgot actually.
Get them
I'm part
all.
of something. I forgot what it was.
Yeah. So when I went through this process just a few months ago, I researched the Norwood pages or groups that have the most followers, and the Norwood Strong was the highest number. It was in the thousands. So it's an active online community where if you post on there, you've instantly reached thousands of people, right? And I wouldn't do it from a hey, what can you do for me standpoint. Introduce yourself. Hey, Norwood Strong, I'm so excited, just bought this building. We're going to turn this place around, we're going to improve it, bring new life into the commercial spots, and ask them in the same manner, what would you like to see in this building, right? What kind of neighborhood services can I provide for you? And then throw it out there. Hey, do you guys know anybody that is looking to expand an insurance business, a nail business, a hair business, a tax preparation business, something, right? And with all the residential around there, maybe a tutoring business. If you have a large Hispanic community, maybe English as a second language tutoring facility, right? Excuse me. So then, once you've introduced yourself and have been adopted into that Norwood Strong community, and if you're not getting any traction, throw out a referral. Hey, $500 cash bonus if you can help me find a tenant. And then you would be amazed how many times that post gets shared, right? It's
Right.
like wildfire. And the crazy thing is, they're going to share it, and then the next person's going to share it and offer $250, and the next person's going to share and offer $100 to try to make money along that chain, right? It's
Yeah.
a cool thing. What else? So Facebook, Craigslist. Go to a city council meeting in Norwood, and Norwood's got one of the most business friendly city councils out there. And introduce yourself to the community. Right now, they're televising their meetings, so not only will you have an audience of people that are there in person, but all the people that are watching from home, right? Now you're a face in their community. Now that when they drive by this building, they know who owns it and they know that this building is going to have new life in it. Is this,
Yeah,
am I
that's a
over?
good idea.
Okay.
I never
I'm
thought
not
about.
overwhelming you. Am I?
No, no, you're not.
Okay.
Like I'm processing the information. I think going to city council never occurred to me. And yeah, I agree with your part. Like Norwood has one of the most troubleless, or like city don't, they don't come on you, right? Like that, like unlike city of Cincinnati. So
100%. Yeah.
yeah,
I would not buy a building in the city limits of Cincinnati. I've done it
it's
before
terrible.
and it's just too big
It's
of a
terrible.
headache.
It's too much of headache. Yeah.
Yeah. So, in addition, when you're in front of the city council, a lot of these council members are very well connected throughout the community. So, I'm sure some of them know businesses that are looking to expand. And if they can help you attract a business into their own community, you'll be amazed at the effort that they put in, right? I know in particular, the Norwood City Council, a lot of these people are passionate about having Norwood thrive. So they will also be your salespeople, be your champions of finding tenants in here, right?
Right.
Sarvana, another thing is if this neighborhood is largely Hispanic, I would go to other Hispanic areas. Where are some good ones? God, I don't know why this is slipping my mind, but I've financed a lot of homes, done loans and stuff for the Hispanic community, and
I think Western Hills has, Cheviot Western Hill has a decent Hispanic community, if I'm not wrong.
Springdale. Sorry,
Springdale, okay.
yeah, Springdale. I had a guy, so I had a house on a land contract. This is back when I did residential. Had a land contract on a house, and this guy came up to me. He's like, "Hey, can I give you $40,000, and I'll make you payments of $2,000 a month until this is paid off?" And this is $100,000 house, right? So I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, let's do it." And then he's like, "Hey, my cousin wants a house. Can you do the same thing?" Sure. And we did this for several of his family members, and they were the best tenants ever. Just fun, personable people to be around. But go in those communities. Springdale was a great one. Go in those communities, and again, get out and walk, and find out what types of businesses are in the area, and which ones are thriving. And don't be afraid to go in, knock on the door, be like, "Hey, listen, I'm in a community with a lot of Hispanic people, and I'm looking for a business that complements the neighborhood. Do you know anybody? Or what would you suggest?" Right?
Right.
Are you comfortable with doing that, do you think?
Yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah, yeah.
okay,
I do that all the time. Like,
good.
whenever I see somebody working, hey, like stop by and take their information. What do you do? Because
Awesome.
you know how difficult to get a labor in Cincinnati, right? Anybody who is
Yep.
with a hammer and screwdriver, I stop by and ask them, hey, what do you do? Like,
Good for you.
it is, oh man, it's ridiculous, ridiculously tough labor market.
Yeah.
We don't
Good,
get
good,
people.
good for you. You've got the right attitude for the business that you're in.
Yeah.
And so this sign here, um,
Neat.
little pylon sign, I would see, what you can do with that. If you can put a new cover on there, and you don't want the letters, and if it's lit up and working, maybe
Yeah,
one,
it's not working right now. That is also something we need to do. So
yeah, I would
I
get it
don't think, at
working.
least maybe there is a switch somewhere I haven't figured out. So
A switch, bulbs, or a dusk to dawn sensor that has gone bad.
yeah,
I've seen
something
all
could
three of
be.
those
Yeah.
things happen, but I would get this working sooner than later because I don't believe Norwood would allow something like this again.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
you would probably have to have a sign on your building. So
Oh,
this will be grandfathered in. Make
oh,
sure it doesn't get hit by a car. Make sure if it falls down, it goes back up really quickly,
okay,
and get it working, And before you know what, matter of fact, get it working. And instead of saying Alpine Apartments, say storefront for lease,
okay,
right? And don't be afraid to put the price down
okay.
because I
Okay.
think, it's like I was browsing through used car ads and just window shopping, but any of the listings that didn't have a price, I just skim right over, right? So it's the same thing with this. Maybe somebody has a home-based business that they're looking to expand, and in their mind, just like a lot of residential people won't do commercial because in their mind it's, oh my god, it's too hard. So maybe these home-based businesses are on the verge of taking that next step and going into a storefront, but maybe they assume, oh my god, it's probably $2,000 a month, I can't afford that. But when they see, 750, eight, whatever your rent's going to be per month, it might get their wheels turning, right?
Right.
And the guy who has no idea what storefronts rent out for, walking his dog, calls his uncle and says, hey, there's a great spot you can expand your business into, or you can open a second location, right? So I gave you a lot of homework. Hopefully your head's not spinning.
No, no, it's not. I think a lot of exceptionally valuable input. So I'm going to see, for example, I would have never known, like, we were thinking what to do with the sign, but probably that was thinking like we would address the last. Probably that is something we would address very first now. So
Yeah, free advertising.
yeah, yeah.
And most municipalities allow temporary signs. So I would have a giant, and I'm talking about giant banner made that hangs maybe from this little beam here, overhang, or if you want to get ambitious,
Maybe on the wall itself, maybe with
maybe somewhere,
anchor
right?
it. Vinyl, we can get the wine done in vinyl, like
Yep.
probably 4 feet by 12 feet or 8 feet or something.
Yeah. I would take down these curtains here and I would open up these blinds here, right? Because this looks like an abandoned vacant space, while this area on the left looks nice. I don't want to be next to this one. I don't want to
Yeah,
be next to a vacant space, right?
yeah.
So, another advertising trick is, depending on how big your banner is, only hang it over one of these storefronts
So they will think the
because,
other one is
yes,
occupied.
other
Okay.
one's occupied. I better get this before it's gone, right? But if
Yeah,
both are available, they have more
yeah,
negotiating room in their mind,
yeah.
right? Play that game a little bit. Um, yeah, and when you go to the city council, ask them about a signage allowance.
Okay,
Ask them what you're allowed to put for signage on these storefronts. A lot of times, any sign, I think 100% of the time, any signage you have on the inside of the window is free. It doesn't count against you. The problem
okay.
here is you have these grids, right?
Yeah.
So it would be a challenge to get a large sign, but nonetheless, there's a lot of options. And if you do put something on the grid, you can put a perforated vinyl sign where when you're inside, you could still see outside, right? But when you're outside, it appears that it's a full color sign.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, man, it's you got a lot of homework to do. There's a lot of options.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think, yeah, we have to do some of these things. And one thought we had was, but it's an expensive one. We were not sure if we thought, like, and if we cannot rent out in any way, we were thinking, okay, we will convert into 2, 3, or 4 bedroom apartments at the bottom. So that would be our final straw, because we know for sure how much the residential building gets, and we will get really good money for 3 bedroom or 4 bedroom apartment. But it needs a lot of work. Like, probably we need to spend $30,000 each side.
Yeah,
That's
in my experience, I've never seen where a commercial unit would rent out for less than a residential. So that blew me away, that thought process, and the fact that you were able to do that in the past. But it's
so.
one of, go ahead.
Tell me this. So, like, if we put a nail salon for a 1,500 square feet, how much would they pay? Because we don't have any commercial, like, um somebody who is, like, not this kind of commercial, something which is nail salon or insurance office and such.
Okay, so let me pull out a calculator. So 1,500 square feet on the low end, we'll do $4 a square foot, right? Um, wait a minute. Each of these are 1,500 square feet.
Yeah, somewhere between 13 to
Oh, I
1500
did. Sorry,
square.
I did 15,000. So at $4 a square feet, which is the absolute lowest, you're looking at $500 per month. What do your apartments rent out for?
The apartments upstairs, those are single bedroom apartments. We are renting it out right now for 675.
Okay. So I would probably rent out each space starting at 750 per month.
750. Okay.
So in your mind, does that make financial sense or would you still rather convert it?
It might make, because again we have to think, um, uh, we have to think that it will cost us $30,000, and
Okay.
time frame how much it will take, 6 months, probably 3 to 6 months to do all the work and get it ready. Um, Plus, we paid cash for this, so we are trying to refinance as quickly as we can. So that's why we are turning over the tenants. And if we have some tenant, even if it is 750, $800, it is worth than having vacant, because it will come into picture in refinancing.
100%. Yes. Um, so here's the benefits, and you probably know all this, but in terms of a commercial tenant, they are not going to use a shower. They're not going to clog their toilets with kids' toys. They're going to use that space and not put a lot of wear and tear into it, right? The
Yeah.
other benefit is once they're successful in that location, they are not going to want to move, right? They're
Right.
established there. The neighborhood knows that this is where you go to pay your insurance check, right? This is where you get your nails done, your massage, or whatever it may be. And then over time, you can increase their rent, right? And especially if you give it to them in whatever condition that it's in, and they go in there and apply their own vision into that space, right? They paint the walls, they decorate it, they put up their artwork, they put furnishings in, they redo all the lighting, right? They redo the bathroom. So now it's their space, they're vested in it, and over time, make their rent increases a win-win, right? You don't want to make it so high that they're forced to leave, but that'd be a great partner. And then when these mixed use buildings, if you ever want them to manage the apartments, that's an option. I hate property management for residential properties, right? So you can have all of your tenants pay rent to one of these businesses.
Right. Yeah.
If there's a maintenance need, have the tenants let them know, right? Because when you have, in 3 years, when you have 20 more of these things, you're going to have to want to put these systems in place, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, these commercial tenants could be a great partner for helping you manage your building. They'll also keep an eye on things. Resident in 4A or tenant in 4A is not going to care that there's trash in the parking lot every day or that there's drunks hanging out in that corner. Your commercial tenant's going to let you know because it affects their
That
business.
affects their business.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So they become a partner. And a commercial tenant on their way in, they'll pick up the trash that's on the sidewalk. They'll pull weeds out there. They'll spray the weeds. It behooves them uh, exponentially more than it does the residential tenants to keep the place up, right? They'll get a snow shovel in the winter. They'll shovel off the sidewalks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of keeping commercial tenants.
Yeah, they are one thing. I think you nailed the point. Like, once they establish, they are not going to leave unless you exponentially raise the rent and you force them to leave. So
Or unless they outgrow the space, right?
outgrow
Which
the
is
space.
a
Yeah.
great, and that's great when that happens because you know that your space is an incubator for helping businesses grow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, so thank you for your time. I'm late for my 9:30 call,
Oh,
but listen,
I'm
here's
sorry about
no
that.
no
So yeah,
no.
thank you
Don't
so
be
much.
sorry.
So,
I learned a lot too. But what I want to do is reconnect after you implement some of these things. So when you get a tenant, or if you are not getting a lot of traction, let's do this again, and we'll brainstorm and figure out the next steps.
yeah, absolutely. So we'll circle back. I think it will take a couple months for us. We are still doing some renovation upstairs, but in parallel, I'm going to get to some of the things which I can do myself,
It won't take a couple months. You'll have a tenant in 30 days.
yeah, hopefully. So
Yeah,
yeah,
implement those steps.
yeah, yeah,
All right.
absolutely. Thank
All
you.
right.
Thanks,
Good luck,
Raj.
brother.
You too. Take care. Bye.
Bye.